And so, starting to take a couple of smooth, deep breaths and noticing how your body's feeling. And thinking about how you want to feel when we're done with practice today. And then setting your intention in whatever way that you do so. And whenever you're ready, we're going to take the hands to the floor or the legs. Inhale, I want you to reach your chest forward and your shoulders back. Exhale, you're going to bring the shoulders forward and round the back. So it's kind of like a seated cat-cow, just moving through the spine and noticing, because we talked about the hips and the shoulders, noticing how your spine and shoulders and neck are feeling as you're going through the movements with your breath. And then whenever you feel like things have started to loosen up, you can stop moving and take another breath. And we're going to take your left hand down, reach that right arm up. And today I want you to, sometimes you just reach over and hold it. Good morning. We're just going to come on over, and I want you to move with your breath, right? So inhale as you reach over, exhale as you come back up, staying on the same side. And keeping your butt on the ground. We're going to do it one more time. And this time we're going to stay there, right? Your butt's on the ground. You're going to turn that palm up and start to press, like you're trying to lift up the ceiling. And then when you feel complete, bring that palm down and come on up. And then second side, reach up that arm. And again, with your breath, inhale over, exhale up. Hopefully noticing all those wonderful sensations. And this one's going to be our last one. So again, as you come over, holding here, keeping your butt on the ground, continuing to breathe, turning that palm up, pressing, pressing. And then when you feel complete, turning that palm down, coming on up. Nice. And then a few breaths. Inhale those shoulders up, rolling down the back body. And if it sounds exciting, you can take one shoulder at a time. Sometimes I like to do that because you feel a little bit more into each side. Then we're going to interlace our fingers and roll through your wrists. Do a couple times in each direction. And then we're going to take one wrist up and kind of reach over so you're stretching the top of the wrist here. And switch them. All right. And then you can release them, shake them out a little bit. And we're going to take your right arm up, bend that elbow. You're kind of walking the fingers down your back body, right? Walking the fingers back, noticing what's happening in your tricep, the back of the upper arm, as you're trying to walk down your back body. Continuing to breathe. And then if you want to add in your hand and increase the stretch, do so. If it feels good like it is, just keep it as it is. And then we're going to release that arm. You can shake that one out a little bit. Other arm comes up, and again, bending the elbow and walking the fingers down. And notice what it feels like. As like I can feel my muscles working as I try to walk those fingers down. And then whenever, if you want to, adding in your hand, still breathing. And again, when you start to feel done, you're going to release that arm, shake it out. And then you are going to find your tennis balls. I've become quite good at that. And what I want you to do is we're going to start on the front of your sits bone. And so bending your knees, everybody else are incoming. All right. So you're going to bend your knees and place so you're not lifting up your butt and putting them under the bone. You're going in front of your pelvis, and then straighten your legs out just a little bit. You're going to go front to back or side to side, and you probably feel those connectors that go into your pelvis. Sometimes they feel like really stretched out rubber bands. You're like, are they going to break? If it feels like that, then you might stop. And I know we do this often, but I really find it helpful, or I should say, and I find it really helpful, so that's why we continue to do it. Now, as we're doing this, you might want to move those tennis balls out a little bit further or in, depending on where you placed them in front of your pelvis. And again, same movements. And you're still breathing and just noticing what's going on in your body. Well, ears need to come forward. Looks like you're sitting on it. Yeah, that's why it hurts so much. All right, now you're going to take everybody's favorite. So again, butts on the ground. You might shift a little bit, tennis ball on either side, and then taking your knees side to side. And only if you choose, you might make your way over to one side and settle into that tennis ball, but you want to use your feet, your knee, your arms to not allow all of your body weight into that tennis ball. Or, depends how it feels, right? You're going to explore and see. If you find yourself not able to breathe, you're going to stop. And we're going to move over to the second side whenever you are ready. And of course, if it feels like too much, you take the tennis ball out, or you go back to when we were moving the knees side to side, right? Finding always what works for you. So we're going to start with some gentle movements on the ground, and some of you have done these with me before. And the thing is that sometimes when we do gentle movements, we think like not much is happening, but I want you to trust me that something's happening, okay? And if it doesn't, but I'd be really shocked if nothing happens, okay? So as soon as we're done with those tennis balls, you're gonna take either a bolster or a folded blanket, and you're gonna place it at the back of your mat. And then we're gonna lay on the right side, and you're gonna have your head on your bolster or blanket. So if your head is kind of tilted up like that, then the bolster is probably too much, and you'll go to a folded blanket. And so you're on your right side, the right arm is extended out, your knees are in line with your hips, so you have like a 90-degree angle. And for some people, it's uncomfortable like that. You could have a blanket or something, or a block between your knees. And then you're gonna place that left hand on top of the right hand, right? And then you're gonna check in, what can I do to make this position more comfortable? Is everybody feeling good? And then I'm gonna be up here so that you can actually see what I'm doing. So you have your left arm on top, and you're gonna start to glide. You're gonna keep your elbows straight, and you're just gonna glide the arm and the shoulder front to back. And the elbow may want to bend, but you're gonna keep it straight, and you're just gliding that arm front to back. And you're just noticing, how does that feel in your shoulder, in your neck, in your arm? And you're breathing as you're gliding. And you move as quickly or as slowly as it feels good in your body. And eventually, because this, even though it's really a nice, simple movement, might feel like a lot of work. One of the times when your hands are together, you're gonna pause for a moment, notice how it feels. And then you're gonna come up onto the fingertips of the left hand. Your right arm is stationary. And you're gonna stay connected to the floor. You're gonna start to walk the hand over the head. So your fingers stay connected to the floor. And then you start to walk up and around the head, and you go as far as it feels comfortable. You can bend your elbow, but you're seeing how far you can go, still keeping those fingertips connected to the floor. And then you come back to the right hand and you walk up again. So it's an exploration. You keep breathing, you notice how it feels. You know, your head may start to turn as your arm comes around, or it may not. Right? You're just saying you're saying, what does my body want to do today? And again, if you start to feel tired, you come back to our beginning point and you pause. Some of you may want to continue on. Now, let's just say the next time you come back to your hands, we're gonna pause for a moment. And this next one, and so when I say pause, like you might want to stay for a couple of breaths whenever you're ready. This next movement, you're going to keep your eyes on your left hand, and you're going to start to arc up into the sky this time. And you only go as far as you can still see your hand. Your head may move. It's, again, an exploration. Your eyes can be closed, yet you want to only go as far as you could still take your vision towards that hand, and again, come back to the right hand. So you're opening up, coming back. And if you notice yourself getting tired, take a break, maybe in between, around, and you're still breathing, arcing into the sky, coming back. Do it on the ground for those of you on the video. So it looks like this. Now, again, one of these times you might feel like you're done, and you'll come, to the place where your hands are stacked up again, left on top of right. And pause for a moment and notice how your body's feeling. We're going to relax the arms for a moment and work on the legs. So you're gonna bring your knees up in line with your hips, right? And then, so you have a 90-degree angle with your legs and your body. And then this movement, sometimes it's interesting to see how your body responds. We're gonna glide that top thigh front to back. So you're not lifting it into the air. You're gliding, your knees going forward and your hips going back, right? You're just gliding front to back, and it might be a teeny tiny movement. And you're just moving and you're breathing and you're noticing how it feels as you're gliding. And if at any point you get tired, you're gonna pause. So I would say, within the next couple of breaths, when you start to feel done, you'll pause for a moment. And the next movement, whenever you're ready, options, you can keep your feet on the ground and just open up like a clam, like you're lifting that top knee and opening up. You can also take that foot off the floor and open your leg up in a bigger way. And your body might roll out as you do so. Again, just kind of exploring. And then after a few times, if you choose, you can add in your arm so that your leg and arm, left leg and arm, are opening up and coming back down to the right. So again, exploring as you move, seeing how your body feels, moving just the leg or the leg and the arm. Your body may roll out, your head may turn with your body. You might even have a little fun with it. I don't know. And as you start to feel complete, you'll pause, notice how you're feeling, and then we're going to switch to the second side. So in your own time, you're going to roll yourself over to your left side. And even though you know all the movements, I want you to see if you can give this side the same amount of time as you gave the other side. So again, starting with your left arm on the ground, right arm on top. Now the left arm will be stationary. Your knees in line with your hips and just gliding that upper arm without bending the elbow, front to back. Moving with your breath, noticing sensation. If at any point you start to feel fatigue, you just pause. And one of these times when your hands are stacked up on top of one another, we're going to come up onto the right fingertips, and this is where the fingertips stay connected to the floor. And you're going to start to walk that hand overhead. You walk as far as it feels comfortable. Your head may move as you're moving that arm and shoulder. Come back to the right hand. Just moving back and forth in your own time. And the next time that your hands are stacked up on top of one another again, pausing, checking in with your breath and your body. And then whenever you're ready, if you choose, taking that left arm up, or whichever arm is on top, because I can't remember now. Arcing into the air, your eyes or face following that hand. Maybe your shoulders open up, maybe your body turns. Moving with your breath. And within the next breath or so, we're going to come to a place where we pause. You're going to check in with your legs and have your knees in line with your hips. We're relaxing the arms at this point. We're going to start to glide that top thigh front to back. So your knee going forward and your hip going back. The thighs are touching at this point, right? You're not lifting the leg, the top leg up at all. And again, it may be a teeny tiny movement. And at any point where you start to get tired, you're going to pause. And then whenever you're ready for the next movement, keeping the foot on the ground or lifting it into the air, starting to open your legs up. So the bottom leg staying on the ground, the top leg, either the foot is coming off the ground or it's staying connected. And then at any point, if you want to add in lifting the arm with the leg, the body opening up, the head possibly turning. And again, whenever you start to feel complete with that, you're going to pause for a moment. And you might, you might still want to keep rolling around. That's okay. We're going to eventually take out what's underneath our head and make our way onto our back body. So you're going to take out what's underneath your head, so your head is on your mat. And if Feet are on the floor with the knees bent about hip width apart, and arms a comfortable place along your side. And we're just going to start to tilt through the pelvis. So inhale, tilt your pubic bone up towards the ceiling. Exhale, tilt it down towards the ground. So we're not lifting the pelvis off the ground. You're just tilting through your pelvis and exploring how that feels as you do so. After your next exhale or so, we're going to pause for a moment. You're going to walk your feet as wide as your mat, or maybe a little bit wider, depending on how long your legs are. And one leg at a time, let's just say we start with the right leg, you're going to bring your knee in towards the floor and then lift it up. So we're not doing both legs at the same time. I know some of us like to do that, but I want you to explore how it feels to move one leg at a time. So you bring the right knee in towards the center, lift it up. Bring the left knee in towards the center, lift it up. And I invite you to explore doing it one leg at a time. And then if you want to do both legs together, feel free, but I think it's important to feel how your body articulates each leg differently. So we're going to come to a place, let's say next time after you do your left knee, if you're doing them individually, we're going to walk the feet in so that your ankles and your knees touch. And we're going to bring the arms down to the sides. The inhale, you're going to bring the arms up overhead, open your knees out to the side, the bottoms of the feet come together. Exhale, knees come together, arms come down to the sides. Inhaling, arms overhead, knees open up. Exhale, knees together, arms come down. Just moving slowly with your breath, noticing how your body feels as you're moving, making sure your breaths are smooth, comfortable. And one more time. And when your knees come back together and the arms come down, we're going to take your arms out to the sides, kind of like a counterbalance, right? So they're extended out to the sides. I like my palms down, but you can have your palms up or down. One at a time, we're going to take those feet off the floor. So now your lower legs are parallel with the floor and feet are flexed. Inhale is to the center. Exhale, you're going to tilt your knees towards your right hand. Inhale to the center. Exhale, tilt those knees towards the left hand. And you're just moving slowly. There's a little angle here as you're twisting. And unless you have super long feet, your knees are not going to touch your hands. Just moving slow. And if that feels too intense for you, you can absolutely do this with your feet on the ground. Now, next time you finish your second side, we're going to pause in the center, bring our hands onto the knees. And you can either just squeeze your knees in towards your chest, or you can make little circles in each direction, kind of seeing what feels good. We're relaxing the back of your pelvis onto the floor. Now, eventually from here, we're going to either roll to the side and use your hands to help you sit up, or you can carefully rock yourself up. And we're going to come all the way up. How's everybody doing? Too much on the ground? I want to stay there. we're going to stand up now if everybody's okay with that. Okay? So, whenever you're ready, you're going to make your way up. And let's find one of those tennis balls and just roll your feet for a moment. Only because it feels really good. To me, anyway. Hopefully everybody. And it's a good time to connect with your breath, connect with the floor and your body, and notice, you know, kind of, you might wiggle a little bit how your body's doing after what we did down on the ground. And if you haven't switched feet, now might be a good time. So eventually, I know, probably don't want to yet, but we're gonna get rid of those tennis balls and make your way towards the front of your mat. And you're going to have your feet about hip width apart and just feeling your feet on the ground, your arms are down at your sides. And we're gonna start to move with our breath, right? So you're gonna lift your arms up, come up onto your toes, and you take your arms up as high as you want to, trying to synchronize feet, breath, and arms. No rush. Next time that you're down on the ground, we're going to explore coming out to the sides with the arms. So again, you might come out up to your shoulders, your hands might connect overhead. What feels good today? And if it doesn't feel good to come up onto your toes, it's okay to keep your feet flat. Now the next movement we're going to, again, you might start with your feet flat. We're going to take one arm forward, one arm back, and then alternate sides. Again, some of you might connect those hands overhead, or you might lift them at shoulder height, really seeing what feels good in your body today. So whenever you finish that second side, we're going to pause for a moment and feel your feet on the ground. I just want to stretch the front of the top of the foot for a moment. So just bringing the tops of your toes to the ground. And if your balance feels off, please go to a wall or a bar, or if you're at home, a chair, so you can really not worry about falling and hurting yourself. And then we're going to do the second side. So when we start to feel done, we're going to take our feet about hip width apart, hands on the thighs. We're going to inhale, body up. Exhale, you're going to come down however far it feels good. And you could have your knees bent here or your legs straight. You're going to inhale up, exhale in towards your legs. And you come up as high as you want, and you go as deeply towards your legs as you want. Moving up and down with your breath. Now, one of these times that you come down towards the ground, some of you might like to have blocks here. From your forward bend, we're going to step back with your right foot into a nice high lunge. And you're going to have your front knee over your ankle. And then your feet are hip width apart. Isometrically, you're pulling your feet towards one another so that you're feeling stable here. We make our way up, possibly hands onto your thigh. If you find yourself a little wobbly, you might take your feet a little bit further apart widthwise. And then you might explore taking your arms up towards the sky, right? But if it pulls on your back, you're going to keep them down. Now, whenever you're ready, and I want you to think about it before you do it, as we exhale, we're going to take the hands to the ground. You're going to take your front foot and reach it behind you up towards the sky, so like a three-legged down dog. So the hands come down, take that front leg, and you reach it up towards the sky. Keep breathing. Then we're going to take that same leg, sweep it forward, right into your high lunge. So options, you could not bring that leg up, right? You can keep your hands on blocks as you're stepping that leg behind, right, where you don't come into a full down dog. So explore what might feel good for you. Okay, you can also have your knee on the ground and take that leg back. Okay. All right, so now you're in your high lunge. We're gonna step that back foot forward into our forward bend. Take those hands onto the legs, inhale, slide on up. So maybe some new transitions for your body. So just kind of notice and figure out how to make it work for you, right? You don't put yourself into like what I look like or anybody else looks like, okay? So we're gonna do the second side. Hands onto the thighs, inhale up, exhale, slide on down. We're gonna step back with the left foot this time into our high lunge. You're gonna get yourself set up, knee over the ankle, feet hip width apart, possibly hands onto the thigh, isometrically, legs pulling in to help with your balance. And then again, maybe taking those arms up towards the sky. And again, you're gonna picture what it's gonna look like as you exhale, take your hands to the ground and take that front foot and step back. And I'm gonna do a modification. I'm gonna take my front knee down and just bring my leg back. Okay, and then whenever you're ready, you're gonna take that leg that's lifted, sweep it forward into your high lunge again. And then in your own time, you're gonna take that back leg, bring it forward into your forward bend, and inhale, slide on up. Too much? What do we think?
My legs are too long. They don't do that.
And then let's bring those hands to the heart center. Take a moment. Feel your thumbs on your sternum, right, your breastbone. Heels of the hands touching, fingertips touching, a little space in between your palms. And you might even have your eyes closed. You're just reconnecting with your breath and your body. And then I want you to put your hands wherever it's comfortable. So once you've reconnected, you're gonna release your hands. And some of you might like to use our friend the wall. You're gonna take the weight into the left foot, lift your right knee up, and do little rolls with your ankle, a couple times in each direction. And your arms are however they help you balance. Obviously, I like mine out with my palms up, right? We're gonna take that foot down, shift your weight, bring up the other knee. Again, at first, you just pause for a moment, knee lifted, foot flexed, and then start to roll through the ankle. And then we're gonna take that foot down to the floor. This is where it gets kind of fun. So again, use the wall if needed. Now, you have your hands wherever you want to. You're breathing, you're focused. We're gonna bring up that right knee. And then you're gonna shift and start to take that knee behind you, and your arms are gonna go wherever it's most helpful.
Love that you call that fun.
You don't think it's fun?
I'm fine. No, I do.
Yeah, I love it. It's my kind of fun, right? And then you're gonna come forward and bring that knee up, right? And then we'll take that foot down to the ground, right? So no rush. You're seeing how your body wants to work today. Doesn't matter how high you get your knee or how high you lift the leg and back. Then after your foot's back on the ground, you take a moment, connect with your breath, and then we're gonna explore the second time. We'll do it again, because I always think like the second and third time it helps us a little bit. So you can start to get used to it. So whenever you're ready, left knee comes up, you find your balance. Think about where you want your hands as you straighten that leg and start to bring it behind you. Right, and your head follows your body. So if your body's pointing towards the ground, so is your face. And then when you feel complete, you bring that knee up and foot down on the ground. Before we do the second side, I just want to come back to your center, because some of us, especially if it's a new movement, we get a little, our energy starts to like get spread out. So take your hands onto your legs. We're going to inhale up and exhale into a mini chair. Sliding your hands up and down your thighs. Inhale is up, exhale, slide down. If that doesn't feel good in your body, the other option is to slide down the front of your legs into a boat bend. So you choose, what's my body really want in this moment? And if it's Shavasana, that's okay. Now, on one of these inhales, when you come up, we'll do each side one more time, no rush. You decide if you want to use the wall, grab onto a wall. Right knee comes up, find our place, and breathe. And whenever you're ready, you extend that leg and start to bring the leg up, the body towards the ground, in whatever way works for your body today. On an inhale, whenever you're ready, body up, knee comes forward, foot down to the ground. And then, in your time, left knee comes up, straighten the leg or lengthen the leg. Exhale as you make your way towards virabhadrasana 3. And again, on an inhale, bring up the body, the knee comes up, foot comes down to the ground. Whenever you're complete, you're going to pause for a moment, connect with your breath. You're going to take the feet a little bit wide, not super wide, but a little bit wide. And some of you might use a block here. We're going to inhale up, exhale down towards the ground. And then keeping your elbows straight, we're going to just bend the knees. So your arms stay straight, connected to the floor or a block. And you're going to inhale with the legs straight, exhale, bend, elbows stay straight. So you're just bending your ankles, your knees, and your hips. Moving with your breath. And then one of these times, and remember, we're all going to do this in whatever way works for us. One of these times, you're going to bend the knees, and you're going to bring yourself into a little squat. So that might be a little block under your bum. You might have a blanket rolled under your heels. You want to see if you can weight the front and the back of the foot evenly. There's a little bit of roundedness in your back. Your chin gently moves towards your chest. And then in your own time, we're going to make our way all the way down to the ground. And stretch those legs out. And some of you, especially if you find yourself, because of how your body is made, you find yourself kind of falling back, you're going to put a blanket under your sits bones. So I just need to look at all of you. How's everybody feeling? I see some smiles, some grimaces. Okay, all right, so from here, we're going to bend your left knee. So I want you to not use your hands, right? And I want you to bend your knee and bring it in towards your thigh. If the knee is up in the air, you're going to either place a blanket or a block underneath it so it can be relaxed onto the ground, right? And then we're going to take your hand onto your thigh, inhale, body up, exhale, slide down. And do that a few times, inhaling up, exhaling down, and then if you want to, after the third or fourth time, we're going to hold the position, right? So at any point, you're going to hold on to wherever your hands come to on your leg and continue to breathe. But for some of us, it feels better to keep moving. So if you want to keep moving with your breath, then you do that. Now on one of these inhales, whenever you're ready, we're we're going to inhale, slide on up. We're gonna take that left knee and point it up towards the sky. So for some of us, as soon as we do that, we fall back on our pelvis. So again, notice, use the block as needed. We'll take the left hand behind us. Inhale, reach that right arm up. And then as you exhale, belly towards the inner thigh. You're either gonna hold on to your knee as you bring your belly towards that thigh, or take your elbow to the outside of the knee, whatever feels more comfortable. And then possibly you might start to take your vision over that back shoulder. Long, smooth breaths. Make sure that you can still breathe fully while you're here. And on one of these inhales, let's lengthen the body. Exhale as we bring ourselves around. We're going to straighten out that leg. And then again, without using your hands, bring in your right foot. Again, if the knee is out in the air, you're going to place something under that knee so that it can be supported. And then you're going to take your hands onto your thigh and start to, all of a sudden there's like this huge light from the pool. We're going to inhale up and exhale, slide down. And you might continue to move after 3 or 4 breaths. You might hold the position and continue to breathe. Always checking in, what would feel really wonderful in my body right at this moment. Making sure you can still breathe fully. On the next inhale or so, we're going to slide on up. Bring your right knee up towards the sky. Right hand behind you. Inhale, take that left arm up. Exhale again, belly towards the inner thigh. Holding on to your knee or elbow to the outside of the knee. Possibly starting to take your vision over that back shoulder. Only if it feels good. Keep breathing. And again, on an inhale, we're going to lengthen the body. Exhale, come forward. Straighten out that leg. I want you to just point and flex those feet for just a moment. And the next time that your toes are pointing up towards the sky, I just want you to roll your legs out. Right? So you're just kind of opening and closing your legs. But not moving them, just rolling them. All right, so for this next one, you could use a blanket or a bolster or nothing, right? So we're gonna work on our belly. What we're going to do, and you might want to see how I set up before you decide what you want to use. You're going to place your pelvis on your bolster or your blanket, and we're going to start to come into a modified bow pose. And so I can grab a bolster so that you can't see what that looks like, but you I get a little lift on my pelvis here, padding. We want it to feel pretty good, and we're going to start with our body on the ground and our legs extended. And you're going to connect to your breath. And then you're going to explore the possibility of coming up onto your elbows and your forearms and having them about as wide as your shoulders, or maybe a little bit wider, whatever feels best for you. Right, and then you're just checking in with your shoulder blades, and rib cage, your diaphragm, and your hips. You're going to see if you might wiggle your pelvis side to side, just loosen your glutes a little bit. And then we're going to bend the knees and flex the feet. So you're imagining that you're reaching your shoulders and your feet towards one another. Might gently pull your forearms and your elbows towards your body. It's a gentle, well, for some of us, it's a gentle back bend. For some of us, it's an intense back bend, right? Now, this next step, you're going to decide if it's for you. We're going to bring that right elbow to the center, and then you're going to reach back with your left hand towards your left foot, and we're going to gently place the right foot on the ground. And then you're going to decide, you can pull that heel towards your buttock, right? See how that feels, or you can do both of these. Press your ankle into your hand and open up the front of the shoulder, so you're taking the heel away from your glute. Now, when you feel like you've had enough, and gently release, switch sides. So now the left elbow and forearm come to the center. Right hand comes towards your ankle, heel towards your glute, and or ankle pressing into the hand. Right? And you can go back and forth, or you can choose to hold one or the other. Again, seeing what feels best for you. You know, lots of different options. You can stay in this position with your knees bent. You can have your head relaxing. You could be in child's pose. Lots of different things that you can do. Now, when you feel complete on both sides, you can choose to bring yourself into child's pose, or you can roll yourself onto your back and bring your knees in towards your chest. And if you want to do full bow pose, please feel free to do so if that's part of your practice. All right, so you're either doing full bow, you're coming into child's pose, or you're coming onto your back and bringing your knees towards your body. You decide. And then from here, you're going to ask yourself, is there anything else that your body needs this morning before you make your way into Shavasana? And if there's anything else that your body wants, please do that. And if you're ready to make your way into Shavasana, please do that. And if you need some suggestions for Shavasana, please feel free to ask. All right, so as you start to settle in to Shavasana, seeing if for the next few moments you can just release your body and your mind. Focusing on the flow of breath in and out of the body. Somena saha saharatnya adnyate nya Shodhana Sambatante Sumena Saharatnya So, taking a moment to notice how the body feels and thinking about when and if you want to start gently moving and reawakening. And I love that little chant. It's called Candramantrah. So it's a mantra to the moon. And it asks us to allow the wonderful rays of the moon to nourish all the plants on the planet so that when we consume them, they nourish us. So when you're ready, you can start to move and wiggle maybe. You don't see a whole lot of movement out there. And that's okay, because we still have a little time. But for those of you who do make your way up to sitting, I'm going to invite you to do a few rounds of alternate nostril breathing. And for those of you who haven't done it before, traditionally we use the right hand, we bring down the index finger and the middle finger into mudra, deer, and then use the thumb to cover the right nostril as you breathe in through the left. And you're not squeezing your nostril, you just barely touch it, because if I just barely touch it, it stops the flow coming in. Breathe in through the left, close the left, breathe out through the right. Breathe in through the right, and out through the left. We'll do a few rounds at your own pace. If it feels uncomfortable, just breathe in your natural breath. So breathing in through the left, out through the right, in through the right, out through the left. You may notice right away or in a little while it kind of brings up your energy. It's a little bit heating, a little bit energizing, helps with focus. And so the next time that you breathe out of your left nostril, just allowing your hand to move away and your breath to move back to its natural rhythm. Your eyes might be closed. And just taking a few moments to contemplate how you're feeling or how your breath is moving, or how you want to be when you walk out of the room today and the rest of it. And then taking a moment to thank yourself for showing up and doing practice today, because that's really important. And I'd like to thank all of my teachers, past and present. There have been so many, even still today, so many teachers that show up And I'd like to thank all of you for being here in person and online. And I acknowledge the lands that I live and work on. And would you like to join me in a nice little Om today? So if you choose, take a nice big in breath. Om.